ignore. Just refuse to publish any facts of African history that don't go along with our racial theories.
We need to create a religious and a scientific doctrine so that African slavery won't appear that bad after all.
What we need to do is flood the world with new African histories that contain our European perspectives only.
Start renaming people and places. Replace African names with Arabic and European names. This will disguise their true black identity.
Let's change the criteria for defining race. For example, 1 drop of Negro blood in America makes you a Negro, no matter how light the skin.
Yes, and when reporting ancient African history, reverse the standard. No matter how dark the skin, woolly the hair, or thick the lips, you don't have to be a Negro.
When black contribution to civilization is too obvious, let's find a way to attribute it to outside white influences.
When all the ancient historians contradict your theory, we'll just discredit them.
Umbrella. She's up, she's up. Whole nother level of shit you can't even understand.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another episode of The Forecast. Now, I know we say it all the time, but at some point we're gonna have to start living it, right? We are at war. We are prisoners of war. And the only way to get out of that position is to start standing up for yourself, doing what you have to do. Because surviving or protecting self-defense is not wrong. Now, what they do is try to make a slave, right? To make us happy to be slaves. But to do that, it not only has to be a physical war, it has to be a mental war. There is a reason why they had to thoroughly erase our knowledge of self from us understanding who we are. Because if we understood who we are, we wouldn't be bowing down for anybody. That's why they have to constantly push this anti-black rhetoric onto us so that we internalize it and we start running off this anti-black rhetoric ourselves without them having to do anything. Trauma bonding us to make us think that we need them when in reality they need us. But that's why it's important that they break you down. That's why they have no problem violating our rights, right? Because in America, we were technically never supposed to have rights. Because technically, we aren't considered citizens or even human. But they still have to violate our God-given human rights. They have to go out of the way to violate whatever boundaries you have. Even if that means walking into your house, putting hands on your children, putting them in handcuffs, and telling you that if you do anything, we're going to arrest you or harm you too. Right? To instill that fear within us. That's why they have no problem going in our home, killing us inside of our home like the sister Breonna Taylor. They have to let us know that there is no safe space for us. The only safe space is going to be the space that we create. But if you think you're safe inside your own home, just ask Botham Jean or Breonna Taylor. In Columbus, Ohio, a brother Andre Hill, who was just minding his own business, coming out of a garage, ended up getting shot and killed by the Columbus police. Now let's see how this brother Andre Hill ended up getting shot and killed by the police.
Just moments after Andre Hill walked out of a garage at a house where he was a guest, he was shot by police.
Put your hands out to the side. Hands out to the side now. Roll to your stomach now.
Body cam footage from officers in Columbus, Ohio, appears to show Andre Hill, an unarmed black man, still alive as he lay wounded on the ground. For more than 5 minutes, officers left him lying there without giving any first aid. Mr. Hill was wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt under his sweater, calling for justice for George Floyd.
Let's cuff him up.
Copy.
It then took between 5 and 13 minutes before anyone attempted to save Andre Hill's life, according to his family's lawyer.
Everybody turn your cameras on. Cameras on. Anybody doing anything for him?
Negative, sir. We contact the medics.
I copy. Get some gloves. You got gloves on?
Yes, sir.
Start pumping his chest.
It was too late for the 47-year-old, who became yet another unarmed black man to die in an encounter with law enforcement in America.
Where is the humanity for Andre Hill? Where is the humanity for this Columbus citizen?
Police officers were responding to a non-emergency call from a neighbour over a noise complaint when they encountered Mr. Hill. The white officer who fired the shots, Adam Coy, has now been sacked. Another officer who was with him that night told an internal police interview she didn't feel Andre Hill posed a danger.
Did you observe any threats from the subject?
No.
Were any verbal warnings given by Officer Coy?
No. We had the expectation that he was going to come out and talk to us.
The conduct of all police staff who were there on the 22nd of December is now being investigated.
Andre Hill should be alive today. A Columbus police officer is responsible for his death. I can't defend it. I can't make it right. But I will do what is in my power.
Andre Hill's daughter is haunted, imagining her father in his final moments.
I gotta memorize my dad on the floor for the rest of my life and how nobody helped him. How there's 22 officers on the scene with body footage and not one of them helped my dad.
The family says they won't stop until they have justice for Andre Hill.
Begin with new details about the shooting death of Andre Hill at the hands of a now fired police officer. Investigators releasing a statement from that officer's partner who was at the scene. Stephanie Ramos joins us with all the details. Stephanie, good morning.
Whit, good morning. That fired Columbus, Ohio police officer did not activate his body camera until after fatally shooting Andre Hill. But the camera has a feature that enables it to record 60 seconds of silent video before being turned on. Coy's partner now reveals some of that interaction with Hill during that minute. This morning, new details in the deadly shooting of 47-year-old Andre Hill, an unarmed black man who was fatally shot by Columbus, Ohio police officer Adam Coy, who is white. Another officer, Amy Detweiler, who responded with Coy to a noise complaint on December 22nd, says in the newly released report, Hill said nothing as he approached the officers from the garage. She didn't see a weapon and she did not observe any threats from Mr. Hill. Body camera video shows the moments leading up to the shooting, but without audio because Coy didn't activate the camera until after the shooting.
Hands out to the side now!
According to the report, Officer Detweiler heard Officer Coy say he saw a gun. Police say there was no gun found on the scene.
Officer Coy never issued any verbal commands. He never gave Andre Hill a chance. He didn't say, freeze, stop, put your hands up. She said he just shot.
Columbus Police Chief Tom Quinlan writing in a summary of his findings saying Officer Adam Coy has exhibited incompetence and gross neglect of duty.
So apparently the police were just responding to a non-emergency noise complaint from a different address than where this brother was at. Now, I don't know how they even came in contact or why they were on his property, but Andre Hill was coming out of the garage, clearly holding a cell phone, but this cop, Adam Coy, said he didn't see his other hand. But he also said that he saw this brother had a gun, so that doesn't make sense. He didn't see his hand or he saw a gun. But either way, it just turned out to be a key ring. And it had to be almost instantly that this cop opened fire and shot this brother 4 times. Now his partner, Amy Detweiler, said she didn't see a gun. This woman said she didn't feel a threat. And she said they thought they were just going to talk, being that they were just on a non-emergency noise complaint that came from a different address than where this brother was. And even his partner said without any warning, he just opened fire and shot him. And then after shooting him, and he's laying on the ground dying, gasping for air, he still got his gun on him, talking about show me your hands, roll over, turn over, giving him all kinds of commands. And you can hear him say, oh, he's still moving, go put him in handcuffs. While this brother gasping for air, and you can see that he's dying. But they don't see us as human, right? And that goes back to that propaganda where they think they can shoot a black person 50 times and he's still gonna get up and charge at him. But they didn't even try to help Andre Hill. They just rolled him over and put him in handcuffs and just let him lay there dying, gasping for air. Until eventually a supervisor showed up and they said, no, we didn't do anything. We called paramedics. And the supervisor had to tell them to at least act like they were going to try to save him. But again, that's that lack of empathy that psychopaths and people with that kind of personality disorder have. They had to wait for their supervisor to tell them something that should be an automatic response for most humans. But they just sat there watching, letting his brother die.
The newly released video of that fatal shooting of Andre Hill by police in Columbus, Ohio, it shows officers standing by for roughly 5 minutes without offering the wounded Hill any aid. And ABC's Kenneth Moten is here now with what the police brass are saying about all of this morning. Kenneth, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning. Horrifying. That's how the police chief in Columbus has described several body camera videos of that scene from last week. And we can also report there's quite a bit of footage because of the large number of officers who were there as Andre Hill lay dying.
Get your hand off from underneath you now!
This morning, newly released body camera video sparking outrage in Columbus, Ohio, after some officers show an apparent lack of action to try to save the life of Andre Hill.
And it's just disgusting how they did my dad. These pictures that I gotta look at, I gotta memorize my dad on the floor for the rest of my life.
Police body camera video shows the 47-year-old unarmed black man walking out of a garage, cell phone in his left hand. This new angle from an officer who says she didn't see a weapon or any threat when fellow officer Adam Coy yelled, "There's a gun in his other hand," and opened fire.
Cuff him up. He's still moving.
Hill, gasping for air, was handcuffed 5 minutes after the shooting. Police were responding to a noise complaint when they encountered Hill next door. And in this newly released footage, a woman inside the home can be heard confronting officers.
He was bringing me Christmas money. He didn't do anything.
Still, several minutes after the shooting, no medical help for Hill until a supervisor arrives.
Anybody doing anything for him?
He was preyed upon, and he wasn't given any kind of chances.
This week, Columbus's police chief expressing deep disappointment in his officers, saying there was little evidence of compassion.
I won't tolerate a repeat of these failures. And where officers failed, they will be held accountable.
But Officer Coy, a nearly 20-year veteran on the force, already fired.
Nobody had any type of human emotion or sympathy for this dying man gasping for his last breaths.
The humanity for Andre Hill. Where is the humanity for this Columbus citizen who had committed no crime?
That new video comes on the same day as the funeral for Casey Goodson, a black man shot and killed by a deputy 2 weeks ago. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
This is newly released video from a Columbus police officer's body camera showing moments after 47-year-old Andre Hill was shot.
Put your hands out to the side.
According to authorities, the officers responded to a disturbance call early Tuesday morning.
The gray SUV in front of this location keeps starting up and running.
Authorities say Officer Adam Coy, a 19-year veteran of the force, and another officer arrived to an open garage door with Hill inside. Hill walking towards the officers with a phone in one hand and the other hand not visible. Officer Coy opened fire, shooting Hill, who authorities say was unarmed.
To see him lying in the driveway, minute after minute after minute after minute, with no attempt to render aid, that is a stunning disregard for life, and in this case, black life.
Hill would later die at the hospital. The officers involved not activating their body cameras until immediately after the shooting. Investigators will be examining the crucial moments captured by the camera's look back feature, which pre-records 60 seconds of video from the moment it turns on. But it does not capture audio, so it is unclear what was said between Hill and the two officers.
This police shooting comes just weeks after another man was shot and killed in Columbus. Casey Goodson Jr. was laid to rest today.
Now, even though they had got a noise complaint call, this cop, Adam Coy, was talking about he was investigating a robbery suspect, But even then, he never gave this brother a chance. And even though somebody came out of the house saying he was innocent, he just came to give me some money, they didn't care. They just stood around watching him die. And the only thing they were willing to do was put him in handcuffs. And even though the cop did have a body camera, he didn't turn it on until after he shot this brother. But he shot him so fast, I guess it wasn't much of a choice. But still, for whatever reason, they did indict the cop in this case.
The Justice Department says it is closing the case against 2 Cleveland policemen involved in the shooting of a black child in 2014. 12-year-old Tamir Rice was playing with a toy gun when officers shot him and killed him, saying they mistook the toy for a real gun. Police say video of the shooting was not clear enough to bring charges. In Columbus, Ohio, tonight, there are troubling new details about the deadly police shooting of Andre Hill. Newly released records show that one police officer at the scene did not perceive Hill as a threat before a fellow officer gunned him down. The officer who fired the fatal shot has lost his job. Here's CBS's Jeff Pegues.
Get your hand off from underneath you now!
Officer Adam Coy was not alone the night he shot and killed Andre Hill.
Give me support.
Also responding to the non-emergency call was Officer Amy Detweiler. According to her interview with Internal Affairs investigators, she and Officer Coy both had their service weapons drawn. But in contrast to Coy, she did not observe any threats from Hill, did not see a weapon. But she did hear Coy yell, "There's a gun in his other hand, there's a gun in his other hand." Then she heard gunfire. Her testimony will be critical going forward. Coy has been fired, but there are calls for him to be arrested and charged. The body camera's automatic record feature captured video of the shooting, but not the audio, as Coy approached Hill, who was holding a cell phone in his left hand. You can't hear the audio until Coy turns the body camera on.
Hands out to the side, now!
Coy's attorney says he is hopeful that his client will get a fair and thorough investigation.
I feel like if that cop would have gave my dad a chance, he'd still be here.
Andre Hill's daughter, Carissa, is simply hoping for justice.
Former Columbus police officer Adam Coy is out of jail tonight, and that was the scene that you just saw earlier this afternoon as he was released.
His attorney successfully argued that his bond was unreasonable, that $3 million bond, the judge agreeing, and within hours, Coy was out.
Chief investigative reporter Bennett Haberly attempted to question Coy as he left jail today.
Flanked by 3 men, former Columbus police officer Adam Coy was released from jail around 2:30 Tuesday afternoon.
You believe what you did was reasonable, sir? Are you able to stay, sir? You know what happened? You believe what happened was a mistake at all, sir?
It's not clear if Coy heard the questions amid the shouts from protesters, but either way, he said nothing as he was led into a white pickup. Whether Coy is convicted will depend on if his case goes to trial and if jurors find him guilty of murder for the fatal shooting of Andre Hill. The unarmed black man was shot and killed by Coy on December 22nd as he exited a garage at a home where he was an expected visitor. A responding officer told Internal Affairs investigators that Coy thought Hill had a gun.
Hands out to the side, now!
Police found no weapon. The shooting was captured on body camera footage, but only because of a look-back feature that records 60 seconds of video before the record button is pressed. Coy's attorney, Mark Collins, successfully argued to have Coy's bond reduced from $3 million, adding that jurors will have to view what happened not through their own view, but through what a reasonable officer would have done in a similar situation.
Our heart goes out to the family of Andre Hill. There's no doubt that our client took the life of Mr. Hill in an on-duty situation. However, the issue in the case will be whether or not his reaction to everything that occurred that evening was reasonable or not. And so our client is devastated about that as well.
News of the bond reduction was disappointing to members of Hill's family who attended the hearing.
I am my dad. I am him, he is me, and that officer took my dad away and he didn't take me away, so I'm here fighting for him.
Now, this brother Andre Hill was shot and killed by Columbus police on the same day another brother, Casey Goodson Jr., who was also shot by Columbus police, had his funeral. Now, this cop was charged, but the police didn't charge him. He was indicted by a grand jury. and they indicted him for murder, felonious assault, and dereliction of duty. Now, especially after one brother just had his funeral and they were already caping for that cop, the police chief had to say something, especially about leaving his brother on the ground for so long. Now, even still, this case is not about this cop just shooting his brother coming out of a garage for no reason within seconds. It's about how they responded to it, right? Because he was still justified for shooting his brother for no reason, even though he was coming out of a house. He wasn't armed, right? He didn't have time to even speak. The other cop didn't feel a threat, but that part is still justified. Only their response to the shooting. So the white police chief, in this case, they don't need the token Negro, right? Notice when they use the token Negro to justify a shooting, but they don't need the token Negro when they come out and try to condemn it or save some kind of face. But he still came out and fired this cop. Now, at first, they did set his bail to $3 million, but of course, they reduced it so he can get out of jail. And now he's at home, and we have to wait for yet another long, dragged-out trial for a murder that happened on video. But just like in the George Floyd case, we'll see what happened in this case. But the point is, until we start getting in charge of punishing people, especially people who harm us, until we issue those punishments, then they'll feel like they can get away with it. And the same thing will keep happening. At the end of the day, we are all we got, and we have to get on code. We have to start standing up for each other and protecting each other, because if we don't, we're going to continue to be easy targets, and we'll see the same thing happen over and over and over.
A 6-year-old black boy in North Carolina was waiting at his bus stop to go to school where he saw a tulip in the yard and picked it like little kids do. And he was arrested and now awaits juvenile charges for injury to real property, where they had to give him a coloring book in trial because he wouldn't sit still long enough because the attention span of a 6-year-old little boy is short. And they are charging him for picking a damn flower. But you telling me the justice system isn't racist? Please go to hell.
Dear, just stop for a second.
I want my dad! 47, I'm in. I want my dad! No!
Stop. Don't kick us, dear.
Stop! Oh my God!
Stop, dude. Just relax.
Okay,
You
wait,
done?
my mom, she's pregnant.
Are you done?
My mom pregnant. Oh yeah, please don't let me go. Please. I want my dad.
Stop, dear. Dear, just stop for a second and take a deep breath. Hey, just stop.
Please. I will get your dad. No, you said that you were gonna pepper spray me. No, please, no, stop. Sit back. Oh, I got a bad arm.
Just spray her.
No, I have
Just spray her at this point.
Stop. Stop.
Dear.
Stop.
I got her.
I got her. Please wipe my eye. Wipe my eye, please.
Unbelievable.
I want my dad. I want my dad. I want my dad. I want my dad.
Stop or you're going to get yourself hurt.
Stop. He's hurting me. I want to. Oh my God.
Then get in the car.
Please help somebody. No. I want my dad.
The police body cam footage is difficult to watch. Rochester, New York police try to force a 9-year-old girl into the back of their squad car. She refuses and a struggle ensues, all as she screams nonstop for her dad.
I want my dad. No.
Officers wrestle the girl dressed in bright floral leggings to the snowy ground and put her in cuffs. The child continues screaming for her father.
I want my dad.
Cops urge the child to calm down.
You gotta stop and take a breath. You're all right. Stop.
The girl continues to resist as officers try to get her into the squad car. They say they were called to her home after a report of family trouble.
Sit up.
No.
You're acting like a child. Stop.
I am a child.
A female officer then issues this warning. She'd better comply or she'll be pepper sprayed.
This is your last chance, otherwise pepper spray's going in your eyeballs. Come on, let's go.
What's her name?
I don't know her name.
Finally, one cop has had enough.
This sprayer at this point.
The officer pumps out the pepper spray and the child screams for help. Today, the police officers find themselves under fire from their own police chief.
I'm not going to stand here and tell you that for a 9-year-old to have to be pepper sprayed is okay. It's not.
The girl was transported to the hospital and has since been released to her family. Inside Edition spoke to retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, who says, in her opinion, there was absolutely no need to pepper spray a child.
She's in handcuffs. You're about to put her in the back of your police car. She won't put her legs in, so we pepper spray her. Is that what we do, officers? You get her little legs and you shove them in the car if you have to, and you close the door behind her.
Newly released body camera footage of Los Angeles police arresting a black man who was simply taking out the trash. TJ Holmes talked to Antone Austin and his girlfriend about the incident, and he joins us now with more. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, Stray. And add now to the lexicon of hashtags, taking out the trash while black. We're about to show you video of an incident that took place nearly 2 years ago, but we're only seeing it now as part of a racial profiling lawsuit against the LAPD. Many parts of this you will find disturbing and chilling to hear police admit as they're arresting this man that we don't know who we're looking for.
You're hearing the desperate screams of Antone Austin, a black man who was simply taking out his trash when 2 Los Angeles police officers approached to arrest him. This newly released body cam footage shows part of the disturbing incident from May of 2019. The LAPD was responding to a domestic violence call. But police spot Austin from their vehicle taking out his trash and listen as they decide to approach him.
This dude? Probably. Turn around because I told you to. Turn around. What are you doing, bro? I live here. All right, we got a call. We got a... Okay, man. I don't know who I'm looking for yet. Come on, step. Turn around, man. What is your problem, dude?
You hear the officer admit he doesn't have a suspect description, but continues to arrest Austin, who continues to question the police. Tensions rise.
Michelle! Dude, what are you doing?
Austin yells for help. His girlfriend says she heard Austin's screams from the shower and rushed outside, trying to intervene, and ends up in the struggle and is disrobed in the process. Both were arrested. The couple is now suing the city of Los Angeles.
What was your reaction once you went back and actually saw it all play out and you got to actually hear the officers in the car before they got out?
In your mind, you want to say to yourself, you know, the first thing, this happened because I'm black. And then you won't want to be that petty. You don't want to be that small. You don't want to really believe that people's thinking is really that on that low of a scale, right? And then when you watch the footage and you hear the guy in the car, you know, like the girl in the 911 call told them to go to a restaurant that was 3 blocks away from my house.
Austin's neighbor, who made that initial 911 call about her ex-boyfriend, did not give a description of him to the dispatcher. That neighbor can be seen in the video telling the officers Austin was not the man she called about, but they continue with the arrest. The attorney for Austin calls this a clear case of racial profiling.
Police should not roll up and immediately think that this person is a criminal. And unfortunately, that's exactly what LAPD did.
Neither Los Angeles police nor city attorneys are commenting to ABC News. Austin fought for the release of this footage and says he's relieved the public now gets to see what he went through.
It's crazy that they can just convict you when they're supposed to be there to act mediator, there to serve, protect, find out what's going on. You know, that they in their minds are the judge and the jury, and they're going to convict you on the spot based off what you look like. It's really eye-opening, you know. It changed the way I look at a lot of things.
The city of Los Angeles did fight the release of that video, saying it would have a chilling effect on investigations, police investigations down the road, and it was against policy anyway. Now, Tone and his girlfriend have since moved from that neighborhood. They are seeking $3 million in damages, but they also simply want an apology, which they have not got. And guys, one other thing, their attorney says that the suspect the police were actually after was a white male.
A University of Arkansas law student is suing an Arkansas State police trooper. He claims he was handcuffed for more than an hour in the back of a state police car last summer while police searched his U-Haul with no reasoning or valid basis. And he's gotten former U.S. Attorney Connor Eldridge to represent him. 5 News reporter Bailey Devane joins us live and shows us the dash cam video from that night. Bailey?
Marion Humphrey Jr. was moving his belongings from Fayetteville to his hometown of Little Rock when he says state trooper Stephen Payton pulled him over on I-40 in Russellville. Humphrey says he believes racial bias caused troopers to search his vehicle. Take a look at what happened.
Nothing to be nervous about. You're not even gonna get a ticket. You're not.
Arkansas State Trooper Stephen Payton says he pulled Humphrey over for almost wrecking the U-Haul going off exit 70 on I-40, then began questioning Humphrey further after he says Humphrey appeared nervous.
When did you rent the car?
Yesterday.
Okay. Then you gotta take it, turn it back into Fayetteville, or
I don't.
pick it up in Fayetteville?
I'm sorry, sir. Is it? I'm trying to figure out that you have probable cause to stop me.
So that's just my job, make sure nobody gonna have a wreck out here.
Okay, but now you're asking all these other questions.
Yeah, because you're super nervous, so I'm trying to figure out why you're so nervous.
Because it's a police.
Payton then asks to search the U-Haul. When Humphrey did not consent, the trooper said he would bring in a drug-sniffing dog.
I don't want you to bring a dog because I don't think that's fair to me as a citizen, as someone who, if the only thing I did was kind of, like, I did not almost wreck my car.
Well, if you don't want to bring a dog, just let me look in here real quick and I'll get you down the road. I don't have to bring a dog.
Here you can see Humphrey contest the search of his rented U-Haul. Humphrey says he called his father, who is an attorney and former circuit judge, to listen in on the traffic stop.
How old are you?
I'm 32 years old.
You're a grown man.
Yes, but
Have you ever had any bad dealings with the police?
I haven't, honestly.
Okay, so then I don't know. We're in Arkansas.
Humphrey was placed in handcuffs while 4 officers searched Humphrey's U-Haul and vehicle for 2 hours. Humphrey says some of his belongings were damaged. Police found nothing illegal.
Step back.
He's making me step back.
Leg your feet apart. Put your hands Give me your left hand. Let me see your left hand.
He wants my left hand.
Put it right here.
Oh, he's arresting me. Daddy, he's arresting me. He's arresting me.
Give me your other hand.
He's arresting me, Daddy. There's nothing in that vehicle. I promise you.
Okay, calm down.
I didn't do anything.
Trooper Payton, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear Trooper Payton. What's he being arrested for?
Well, the dog alerted on narcotics in the vehicle, so I detained him and he's in the back car while I searched the vehicle.
What's the dog alert for? That child didn't have any drugs on him.
Now Humphrey is suing for emotional and punitive damages. He says State Trooper Stephen Payton's actions violated his 4th and 14th Amendment rights. The court date is still pending.
Brother. Fuck she on, bruh. Straight got the gun pointed at me like, what is she doing? Like, what the fuck, bruh? She tweaking. Like, dead ass.
You walked up to my car and pulled a fucking gun on me.
I was sparing my life, sir. It's my house.
Only on CBS 46, a realtor's home viewing turns into horror. A major mix-up ending with the homeowner in handcuffs. That homeowner also happens to be a fire chief in Alabama.
And tonight he is charged with pulling a gun on the realtor and her photographer and breaking their equipment. CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy has the story tonight. Jamie.
Yeah, good evening, Rick. So a very uncomfortable situation for the realtor and her photographer, who says that she identified herself multiple times, had a legitimate reason to be at the homeowner's house, but says, according to them, that the homeowner only saw the colour of their skin.
Pulled the gun on me.
I thought you pulled a gun.
You pulled
It was scary. I was just like praying, like, please, Lord, like, don't let him shoot any of us.
That's all realtor Regina Lee says she could do when a house viewing turned into chaos.
It was a confirmed appointment, so it was definitely confirmed.
Jason Rickles is the fire chief of Tarrant, Alabama, and is selling his home in Roswell. According to Roswell police, that's why Regina and photographer Dwayne Brody were there. Police say they had an approved viewing of the house and were set to take some photos before Regina's client arrived. Police say Rickles saw the photo session through a camera and called his real estate agent to get them out.
So I'm like, well, this is scheduled. I mean, like, but I said, if the owner doesn't want me in there, then that's fine. We'll leave immediately.
Regina says Fire Chief Rickles turned up as they got in their cars. Police say he blocked them from leaving, got out of his car and pulled out a gun.
Pulled the gun on me, jumped in my car, and broke my camera.
Regina says they all identified themselves multiple times.
Like, he didn't see anything but the color of our skins, because even the photographers, they had their logos of their companies on them.
Rickles told police he believed the group were scam artists. He says he thought Dwayne's camera was a gun, so he snatched it and smashed it.
You walk up.
But police didn't buy it.
What was speaking with it did not seem to be an appropriate conclusion to have come to based on the totality of the circumstances of what took place that day.
So the fire chief was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, among other charges. Now, Rickles' lawyer tells me he is distressed by the situation and will fight the charges. Now, I spoke with the mayor of Tarrant, Alabama, and fire officers from Tarrant, all of whom had no idea of his arrest. Now, Regina tells me afterwards a city official called her and said this isn't the first time Rickles has been accused of racist allegations.
Go back in your little cage until the monkey controller gets here. Y'all hear this shit, right? Y'all hear this shit, right? Y'all hear this shit, right? Are you gonna take your ID out, or yes or no? Y'all hear this shit? Are you gonna get your identification out, yes or no? Call me a nigger, right? No. He started the nigger thing because he is the dumb man. Yeah, I said it second, right after you. Yeah, okay. You heard it again, right? The big N-word came out of him. Are you gonna take your ID out, or am I gonna get the sheriff here to get it from you? Get the fucking sheriff here, nigga. Damn. It's all your goddamn fault anyway.
This.
Go back in your little cage.
The work record of Motto, who LAPD says retired from their Operation Central Bureau homicide last May, is now under review by the DA's office. The office says they have begun reviewing more than 300 cases, many of them homicide cases that Motto was involved in during his 33 years with the department.
Under the law, we are required, once we become aware of someone having racist tendencies, as in the case of this individual, we have to notify the defense lawyers in all the cases that this individual may have been a witness or participated in the investigation.
Civil rights attorney DeWitt Lacey says these are some of the major red flags the investigation may look into.
They're going to question whether or not evidence was planted. They're going to question whether or not he ignored evidence from people of color, black folks in particular. They're going to question the type of people that he went after.
Get your white woman, nigga!
Ma'am, stop looking at. Ma'am, you hit me with that, I'm gonna knock you out.
Get your ass off my property!
Ma'am, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm telling you.
Nobody's talking to you, nigga!
I'm gonna knock you out.
Nobody's talking to you,
I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna put you on your ass, bitch.
Come on, just hang over here, honey. He's gonna knock your ass out. You got it right. Hey, take a picture of it. That's it, baby. I hope you put it online. Your niggas are busy down here, honey.
Oh, us niggas? Wow. I can't believe you called me that.
68 years old, honey. Jay came into the high school with a gun on their hip with the sheriff's department. What are we gonna do about it? I wasn't talking to you, nigga.
Yeah, you hit me with that. I'm gonna show you what a nigga is.
What's going to Minnesota? Burn down all the schools. With your hippie nigga protest.
Hey, you gonna go viral, man.
I'm gonna call the FBI when I get home. I'm taking these letters from Highway Louisiana money. My grandpa came from the state of Iowa, the rights farm down here after the Civil War, and I called the FBI.
Yes, ma'am.
He dragged your nigga ass off, boy.
Okay.
He got his titties for you, baby. And you're leaving like Tom Prince Monday morning. Let's go, nigga. Let's go, fuck.
Ma'am, you swing at me, I'm telling you, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm not playing, ma'am.
Come your titties, boy.
Oh,
don't want to do this, man.
Just get out of the car. I'm just asking. We'll get this figured out. Just come out and just get out of the car.
You release me now.
You can't do that.
Release it. I have Second Amendment rights, David.
Okay. Just get out of the car. Come on, come back here. We'll talk about it.
Excuse me. This right here is the reason
We'll
to
get
defend myself, cast a doctrine. You know that.
We'll get this figured out. Don't do it. Please. Just come on.
Get out of the car, sir.
Just get out of the car. Just step out.
The gun's down.
No, just step out. Just step out of the car. Just don't do it.
Get out of the car. You're on double blue. You know what's going to happen, right?
Just stop.
You need to get out of the car. That's a lawful order. You're going to go to
What,
jail.
a gunpoint? Oh, take me to jail then. Go ahead.
Just come on.
You're obstructing.
I can't.
No, you're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir. Right now, my life's in threat.
Okay. Well, we have.
I don't even see body cam on this, sir. I'm just going to drive away. I'm not going to bother anybody.
No, you're
Hands
not.
on the seat.
Don't do this.
No.
Don't do it. Don't.
Roll down the window. What's up, bro? Waiting for my mom, sir. Okay, you're just parked illegally, that's it.
On February 9th, 2 LAPD officers drove up to a car parking illegally on Manchester Avenue near Figueroa Street. That's where they encountered the suspect, Travis Elster of Compton.
Can you turn off the car for me?
I'll go over here for you, sir.
Turn off the car for me?
Let me move the car for you.
No, just park it, leave it here, okay? Hey! Yo!
From the perspective of the second officer's body cam video, you can see the suspect almost ran over one of the officers. Our Desmond Shaw picked up the end of the pursuit at a nearby mall.
It was actually a short pursuit with an assault with a deadly weapon suspect, and it came to an end with him running into a discount store here.
A security camera from inside the store captures the suspect running in wearing a black hoodie, going to the back of the store just several feet from a security guard, changing clothes, and then walking back out, this time wearing a red sports jersey. Video from a security camera at another store captured the suspect walking into the business wearing the same red jersey he had changed into. Several minutes later, he returned to the front of the second store, covers his nose and mouth with a large face covering, and walks out in front of an army of LAPD officers looking for him.
All right, and we back on the forecast. Now, not only do your enemy make it a point to violate your boundaries, especially in the places that you feel the safest at, like in your home, you have to understand that you're not safe anywhere. And that's the reason why we need to be upset. There's nothing wrong with being upset. It's a natural emotion. It's just using it in the best way to get where you need to be, right? To have autonomy of yourself. To be able to punish somebody who harms you or harms your loved one or even violates your rights. But they have to make it known that they can violate your rights at any time. And not only your rights, but anybody who you love, including your children, your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever. And the truth is, from day one, when your enemy comes into your house to rape your wife in front of you, or to take her away just to be raped by a visitor that he's having that night, and you stand there and do nothing, then a little piece of you is getting taken away every time. And they need to continue to take away pieces of you until there's nothing left but that servant. That's why they violate your children, your loved ones, your parents right in front of you to send a message to let you know there's nothing you can do about it. And the minute that we let that slide the first time, we already begin losing something. But the good thing is we can start right now to rebuild ourselves any way that we want to. But as long as they can come in and violate us anytime they want, then the same thing is going to continue to happen. In Jacksonville, Florida, a sister, Brittany Crishaw Williams, ended up getting beaten by Jacksonville police inside of her own home. Now let's go back and see how something like that ended up happening to this sister.
Cheers.
Are you here?
Okay.
Why are y'all smirking?
Come here.
Baby, back up.
No, stop.
Hey, yo, he's slapping me! He's slapping me!
Please, man, that's my I mean, come on.
Now you're going to jail.
You're just mad because I'm a black girl?
No, because you battered a law enforcement officer.
I battered
You kicked me.
I kicked you!
Yeah, you kicked
What
me.
is your name?
Officer Paget is my name. In.
A confrontation caught on camera between a property owner and a Jacksonville police officer.
The woman says that it turned ugly when more officers arrived.
No, stop. Please, stop.
The woman being arrested is 29-year-old Brittany Williams. She said that she was injured when police officers used excessive force after entering her home without a warrant and pinning her down. News for Jax reporter Eric Avanier has been speaking with Williams and reaching out to JSO about the video, and Eric's joining us live with a look at what he's learned. Eric?
Yes, right now her attorney is trying to get those charges dropped after an on-duty officer admitted in that recording that you just saw that he was on private property reading emails and refused to leave after the homeowner asked him to, and that homeowner, of course, was Williams. But also in that same recording, we hear the officer say that she assaulted him.
Our camera was recording when 29-year-old Brittany Williams walked out of the Duval County Jail and greeted her family and boyfriend, who recorded this confrontation with police the night before.
I'm in a lot of pain. I've been asking for medical attention since I got here.
Williams was arrested and charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting arrest. She says it all started when she asked a police officer in her driveway to leave since he was not conducting official police business. At the beginning of this video, she's on the phone with 911 dispatch asking to send someone over to force the officer to get off her property.
This is my driveway. Why are you here? He started yelling.
But when more police arrived, one of the officers appeared to slowly walk towards her.
So he told me, oh, my supervisor's coming. And then next thing I know, I'm being attacked from both sides on my front porch. So before they get to me, I'm trying to go back into my house.
Then we see this.
No, stop. Please, stop.
News for Jax crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson says police will not typically park in someone's private driveway unless it's for official police business.
The person arrested was well within her rights to ask the officer, was he there for official business? What was he doing? He's just sitting there. Later learned that he was just sitting there reading emails.
At this point, we can't see what's happening, but we can hear an officer threaten to arrest her boyfriend.
Please, man, it's my girl, man.
I'm going to jail too.
What did I do? What am I doing?
Right now, interfering.
I was very compliant the whole time. I was very compliant for a boyfriend whose a girlfriend is being attacked by 3 officers.
We later hear the officer tell her boyfriend she's being arrested because she threw something at him before the video was recorded.
The girl threw whatever she has on her face on a spoon on me in the car.
Jefferson says if what the officer says is true, then that's where Williams went wrong.
You can't do that. That's battery on a law enforcement officer. I don't care how minor it is.
Now, this cop who the media makes sure they didn't name or identify, but this cop, Officer A. Carmona, badge number 64386, just randomly pulled over and parked in their driveway. So this sister, Brittany Williams, who was minding her own business in her house, saw them. So like she's supposed to do, she went out there and see what was up. So this cop like, oh yeah, I just pulled over to take a phone call and check some emails. But this sister, like she was in her right to do, and like we all should do, told the cop to get the hell off her property. So I guess his ego was hurt or whatever. And in his mind, a black woman shouldn't be talking to me like this. I'm a cop. I can do what I want to do. And how dare some black woman talk to me like that? So he responded by yelling at her, telling her I could do what I want to do. I'll leave when I feel like it. So she like, well, I'll just call the police on you. And he just started laughing because he knows they're going to be on code. He like, well, they're just going to call me anyway. He knows they aren't going to do anything to him. And that's where we as a people have to realize what being on code is. They're going to stay on code, which is having each other's back, right? We have to be on code. And there should have been somebody else for the sister to be able to call, which is why it's very important to build our own institutions. And of course, when the other cops got there, this cop claimed that she threw something that she had put on her face at him. And of course, staying on code, they ended up rushing this sister, attacking her in her own home in front of her boyfriend. And all he could do was stand there like, get off my girl. Come on, man, please. He can't really say nothing. And they're still threatening to arrest him for even that. Talking about he's interfering. When in actuality, we all should be interfering when they harm one of us. And when they violating our rights. And so all of these cops bum rushed this sister in her own home who's no more than 100 pounds. And they ended up attacking her, beating her before arresting her.
Parked in her driveway, and she wanted to know why.
He just immediately started to just yell at me and tell me things like, you know, I can be here if I want to, and just this is a public lot, and things like that. That was just absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, I'm gonna call for backup, you know? And when I told him that, I was like, I'm gonna call 911 to report you. He laughed at me and he was like, they're just gonna call me anyway.
According to the arrest report, before Williams called JSO, the officer told her he backed into the driveway because he thought it was a vacant property and was just checking emails while traffic was backed up. The report goes on to say Williams told the officer to leave and then threw a spoon with an unknown green substance at him while he was sitting in the car.
Here they come.
4 more officers arrive.
Why is he here?
Why are you here? And why are y'all smirking? Baby,
No, stop. Please, stop. Please, bro, please, man, that's my girl. Please, bro, don't take her to jail.
Now you're going to jail.
you're just mad because I'm a black girl?
No, because you
What
battered
did
a
I
law
do?
enforcement officer.
I
Then
battered
you
him.
kicked me.
I kicked you!
Get in. Kick somebody else again.
Arrested and charged with battery and assault on an officer and resisting arrest.
She kicked me when I was inside. Go somewhere. Unless you want to be a witness to it.
The arrest report states while Williams was taken into custody, a semi-automatic pistol fell off her person and onto the floor.
I have a right to protect myself and have a weapon inside of my house. That was just a reason and an excuse for them to attack me. I also had, until recently because of this situation, a concealed weapons license. If I wanted to even carry it, I legally can do that.
Williams did let the officers know she had a gun before being taken into custody, according to the report.
They broke my teeth on the floor right there in front of the stairwell.
You know, looking at the video, there's a lot of empty space.
Alex Picaro is a criminologist and a professor at the University of Miami. Did you see excessive force?
I saw a lot of force, yeah.
News4Jack's crime and safety expert, Ken Jefferson, a retired JSO officer with more than 24 years on the force, disagrees.
In this case, I didn't see any excessive force being done. They were trying to restrain her.
Do you think police acted in line with department protocol?
I can say that they did some things that were in line and some things that were probably a little too much.
They acted in line with department protocol as far as executing the arrest. They did not act in line with protocol of just leaving that area when asked to do so.
Altercations actually get worse as they go along. They don't get better. And that's what we saw here.
What's the obligation from the department after seeing this video?
I have always recommended to police chiefs and police departments to be in front of the story and to be as open and honest as you can at every step of the way.
This is all backed up over here.
Here's some of the conversation between the officers captured on police body camera video the day of the incident.
Why not? I'm out of the roadway.
Just be sure when you write your narrative, and there's no real examples on it. I did not activate my camera immediately because I was not anticipating citizen reaction. I pulled over here real quick.
Williams says she was brought to this empty lot just yards away from her home. She says they were here for a period of time before they brought her to jail.
There's nothing illegal with that. The question is, was that appropriate?
Do you think race plays a factor in this case?
I don't know. Again, I don't know the mindset of the officer.
Why are you here?
Okay.
Why are y'all smirking?
It just did not have to go this far. Would an officer go to another type of neighborhood and sit in someone's driveway without permission? I can tell you the answer to that, and the answer is more than likely no.
JSO declined to comment as this is an active criminal investigation. We put in a request for the 911 call and the files on the 5 male officers involved in this case. We should mention Williams does not have a criminal record. She faces up to 10 years in prison for battery and assault on an officer and resisting arrest.
Now, after these cops beat this sister up because he had a bruised ego, he started talking about she assaulted him, she kicked him. And this sister never kicked him. But they charged her for assaulting an officer when he had no business going up in her house in the first place. Just because she hurt his feelings by telling him to get off of her property, as she should do. And he talking about she assaulted him, but they smashed her face on the floor, they broke her teeth, but like psychos do, they blame the victim. On the body camera, when they were explaining it to her mom, they said she smashed her own face on the floor or smashed her face into the door, and she assaulted herself. But of course, after these grown men went in her house and assaulted her, they charged her with assault, and she faces up to 10 years in prison. Talking about she was resisting arrest.
Body camera footage shedding more light on the arrest of Brittany Williams last May. The Jacksonville woman said she had asked a JSO officer who had parked in her driveway to leave and was then arrested after the officer entered her home without a warrant. The officer claiming that she threw a spoon at him and threatened to shoot him. News 4 Jax reporter Joe McLean has been going through this new footage, which some may find disturbing. And Joe, this video coming from the state attorney's office.
Yes, Mary, what we have now is 17 different body camera clips and from at least 3 different officers who responded to the scene. Now, they begin when backup arrives to assist the officer who was parked in Brittany Williams' driveway. Now, there's a lot of video today, and we're going to continue analyzing it for you. But tonight, we want to look at what these clips don't show, as in many instances, the footage from the state attorney's office is redacted. It was May 13th. Brittany Williams was in her home on East 21st Street when she saw a JSO officer parked in her driveway. According to multiple narratives, Williams approached the officer's car and asked him to leave. That conversation refusing to leave, and Williams allegedly throwing a spoon through the officer's window, striking him in the arm. According to the arrest report, Williams said she had a gun and would shoot the officer if he came near her. It all led police to confront Williams and take her into custody, with the arresting officer claiming Williams kicked and scratched him.
Why are y'all smirking? Baby,
No, stop. Please, stop.
In the new video files we obtained from the state attorney's office, the video is redacted anytime officers enter Williams' house.
Sir, why is he here?
Here's the same clip again from the copy we received today. And there are several other times throughout the course of this body camera footage where the video or audio is redacted. I asked News 4 Jax crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson why these video clips would have been removed from the body camera footage on public file.
The reason why some of the information would be redacted from police body cam would be for privacy reasons or for the sake of public record. Sometimes there are things that they have to redact so that it won't be disclosed to the public for public record privacy.
Jefferson said certain things might also be redacted if the case is likely to go to trial. Information might be withheld in order to not compromise the investigation or the discovery. In December, Williams posted on social media that she also saw the redacted body camera footage and claims that JSO muted the clips in instances where officers incriminated themselves. That would obviously come out in court.
So I want to update everybody on what's been going on, like in court and stuff. The police and the prosecutor and the other officials are upset with me because I've been exposing them. When I put out my body cam video, they got real mad. So they're coming at me like as hard as they can, and they're harassing me. The police are outside of my door, outside of my house all the time. At night, they're always there. They have their lights and stuff on, and they're just trying to just intimidate me and silence me. And they're refusing to drop the charges, and they're just coming at me with everything they got. They're trying to say I'm mentally ill. And they were trying to make me go to mental health court and take a plea deal and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, how can I say I'm mentally ill when I'm not mentally ill? Like, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. And then I would have to do like a 3-year program or something crazy. And I would have to pay for it and let them come and monitor me and drug test me. And it's just crazy when I don't deserve that. So my attorneys filed a motion to dismiss, a few motions to dismiss, 2 of them actually. And that includes an internal investigation that JSO police people actually did themselves. And what's crazy about it is it actually says that I made no direct threat at all, and they don't see, like, there was no reason for the officer being there. They don't understand why that happened, and there's no evidence of me doing anything wrong. That's pretty much what their own internal investigation says, but still they're trying to press charges against me, and they refuse to drop the charges. So I'm just, like, pissed off because there's video evidence proving that they lied on their body camera footage, and they're conspiring against me. So I just really don't understand how this is even moving forward, but I'm still fighting. And they're actually trying to use people in the media, like some black man named Ken or something. He's on there saying stupid stuff like that wasn't excessive force. How could it not be excessive force when my teeth were broken and I have permanent nerve damage? That doesn't make any sense. And then there's this other guy named Troy Kless with First Coast News. First he came to me like he was going to help me, and he put out an article to help me. And then he turned around and put out another article right after that, which is the first thing you see if you Google my name. And it's in favor of the officers, trying to say something about, oh, she said she was going to pull her gun, which is so crazy because, first of all, your internal investigation, JSO Police, says that there's nothing wrong, that she said she didn't make any direct threat to any officer, and I can legally have a gun. Everything that I did and said was perfectly legal, so it doesn't make any sense. They came in my house without a warrant and took my gun. And even if it wasn't in my house, if I had it on me, I had a concealed weapons license, so that didn't matter. I was on my property. It's just real crazy. Like, they trying to like make me, portray me as a criminal and discredit me and make me look bad when I did everything legal and everything right, and they weren't supposed to be there at all. So I really been really upset.
Now, of course, they're going to stay on code, and that's something that we have to learn. But they're going to stay on code with Officer A. Kamara, badge number 64386. So to justify running up in this sister's house, attacking her, breaking her teeth, arresting her for telling the cops she don't want him in her driveway, all of a sudden it went from she threw something on a spoon to she had a gun and threatened to shoot him. Now this sister, like we all should be, was a licensed gun owner, had a concealed permit until this incident. And like Ida B. Wells say, we should all have some kind of firearm in our home. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But since we don't have our own institutions, the sister tried to call 911 to get them to leave her house. And on the call, they're always going to use what you say against them when it comes to one of them. And she mentioned that she had a gun. But in the same phone call, she said she wasn't going to use it. She'll put it up and all of that. Even the police said, well, she didn't threaten to use a gun. The gun was on the floor. And all she said on the 911 call was, now, if I was to pull out my gun and protect myself, then I'd be wrong. Not that she was going to do it, and she said that she will put it away. But of course, the media and the police are going to run with it and say she threatened to use the gun on him. Plus, if she was yelling, throwing things, and making threats, like the police said, why did it take him so long to turn on his body camera? But instead of recording the incident, he recorded one of the supervisors instructing them on what to do and how to write it up on the paperwork. And then they wait to show the video until they can take out the incriminating parts of the video. And of course, to make sure, they had to roll out their token Negro expert to cape and tap dance for the cop. And of course, justify what they do. And we as black men have to stay out of that position as black people, because it's not just black men. Our self-protection, our survival, at some point has to mean more to us than anything, especially being part of a system designed to destroy us. We don't have any other choice but to learn how to get on code and start protecting each other, how to start standing up for each other. Because until they start facing consequences, and if this sister has somebody else she could call, where 10 brothers show up armed to make sure that she's safe, then things will start going a lot differently. But we have to get that fear out of our heart, that fear that was beaten into our hearts and our minds. We have to get rid of that. We have to start healing ourselves. Because until we do and we realize we are all we got, then they will keep violating our boundaries and they will keep harming us.
Yo, hold up, bro. You don't gotta be grabbing her like that, God. But you don't gotta have your hands on the guy.
He don't gotta have his hands on his back. Call the female
Come
officer.
on, God. Call a female officer.
Officer, bro. You don't touch that, bro.
Yo. Hey, yo. Yo, she ain't even doing shit, God.
Yo, what are you doing?
You wildin'. Hey, yo. Monster, chill, bro. Monster, chill, bro. Chill. What's your badge number?
What's wrong with you, man? You better back the fuck up. That's some real shit. No, this is my baby mother, dog.
So what?
Yo, what the fuck are you doing? My baby in this car. Don't touch my car. Don't touch my car. Don't go in my car.
Wildin', God.
Don't go in my fucking car. Chill out.
Wildin'.
Call back on me, you racist bitch. Call back on you, racist bitch.
Calm down.
Hey,
bro. Calm down, though.
What the fuck is wrong with him trying to go in? All the fucking back.
He on camera, God. We got him. He on camera, God. We got him.
Stop. No, you stop. You touch him.
We got him.
So I need to call it in. That's why I did. I'm trying. Relax. Can I see that? My insurance is Sydney Rashida. So why the fuck would you come here saying my car's stolen? Because it's... No, it's not, you lying bitch.
Relax.
You're going to jail. Pick the papers up. You lying bitch.
Pick your papers up.
You lying bitch. I'm pressing charges. You lying bitch. I'm pressing charges.
Oh, I'm going across the street. And they calling backup guy. On the block, they got the block crazy.
And they fucked us up. You gotta get low.
100%. Hey, man, come here. Dude, I'm not racist at all. Come right here. Stay right here. Did he call you a nigga?
One of them called me a nigga,
No,
yeah.
it was not me, dude. You sure? 100.
Is that your bitch that live up here?
Dude, it's
Is that your bitch that just walked downstairs? I told you my daughter stayed downstairs. I told your broad before. If y'all motherfuckers fuck with my child and my grandson downstairs, I was gonna maim you motherfuckers. Did he call you a nigga?
One of them did call me a nigger.
You sure?
100%. Not me, bro. Not me. 100%.
I'm gonna kill that bitch outside.
Not.
I got that bitch in the bed.
Have a nigga tell me he's not moving off my driveway?
She called someone the N-word without even blinking an eye.
I called that fat.
This Lee County woman is proving racism runs deep in Southwest Florida. The hate hurled at two men trying to work.
You can't use that language. I can use the word all god mother. You're harassing us now.
It is the new stunning video you're seeing right now at 11. I'm Peter Bush.
And I'm Brenna White. It's hard to listen to this disgusting language, but the woman spewing it says it's her right. Tonight, only NBC2's Gage Goulding gets the response from the men she verbally attacked.
Yeah, Brenna, Peter, this video, it's absolutely shocking. It happened on Saturday and was a portion. It was all captured on a cell phone. That video posted to social media where hundreds are now speaking out in anger.
And if you think I might have a tell me he's not moving off my driveway.
A racist rant all over a truck parked on the road. Will Osley and Melvin Finley own a moving company. On Saturday, they were in Lee County unloading a truck. That's when this woman, Gina Brashear, got mad that the truck was blocking the road.
Me and him are on the back of the truck. We're still working. We're still unloading the sheets of metal onto the pallet. We start hearing this commotion on the other side of the truck, just getting louder and louder and more intense.
That's the moment when the customer, who didn't want to speak to me out of fear, starts capturing this video. In 30 seconds, Brashear unloading a racist rant.
And if you think I might have a tell me he's not moving off my driveway, I can use the word all god mother.
That wasn't it.
Good, the cops are coming. Tell them I called y'all what the ever. I didn't call y'all. I called that
say that.
Now for your trailer. I can't say. Please bring it to me in writing.
She screamed the N-word 6 times in just half a minute.
I've been, insulted before. It's nothing new to me. But this time around, it's a little, I don't know, it just feels a little different. It feels bigger than me.
I went to Brashear's home. She didn't want to come out to talk on camera, but she spoke with me on the phone.
And over the course of the video,
say it 100 times in 30 seconds. There's nothing illegal about saying it.
do you feel that it's okay to use that derogatory word?
Absolutely. Do I have reasons to be racist? Absolutely, I do.
I asked her about people calling her racist online.
One thing you need to get straight from coming from me. I don't care who's upset. I don't care that I'm called a racist.
To Melvin and Will, this is bigger than just affecting them, and they hope it's the catalyst of change.
It's 2021, man. I don't know. We have a very long way to go. We have not come as far as we claim. We have a long way to go.
Again today, Brashear refused to speak with me on camera, but she did say this about her old business.
Did I hide my racism at my business? As a professional, guess what? You have to not show those sides when you own the business.
Brashear continuing to stand behind repeatedly calling Osley and Finley the N-word.
To finally get someone to come out and go, I'm a racist, I am sorry for what I said. That will never come out of my mouth. Ever. Never.
The president of the Lee County NAACP.
It was disturbing. It was hateful. It is hateful to hear us being called.
It's hateful, but is what Brashear said considered a hate crime? Professor of Forensic Studies at Florida Gulf Coast University, David Thomas, says no, her speech is protected.
It is her right. She didn't do it to incite anybody to attack. Florida's hate crimes are set up so that it's an enhancement of a crime.
Both Will and Melvin hoping this video and their story will pave the way to a better future.
You can't be this way in a world full of different people. It doesn't make sense.
He ain't stole nothing.
What do you think I did? What is this?
Man just jumped on him. He ain't stole nothing.
What was this whole
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He ain't stolen at first. He was on top of him. His man already telling me he can't breathe. He gonna tell me, get the fuck back. I ain't getting the fuck nowhere. If he telling you he can't breathe, he can't motherfucking breathe. The fuck? I ain't going no motherfucking where.
I'm good now. I couldn't at first. I don't know if you think I was
choking out, grabbing all on him, choking on him and shit. The workers done gave him his wallet back, gave him his cigarettes. He got a receipt in his hand. He got every motherfucking thing. They don't even know what the fuck happened.
You do. You got the hours that you want.
Yeah, go live right on Facebook. He ain't stole. That's what I'm saying. Why he won't let him up? He's not trying to get him. It's called assault, man. He said you pushed him first. So if you hit him first, then he got the right to hit you back. If you hit him first, he got the right to hit you back. You ain't nothing but security. You ain't no police. Please don't speak to me. Thank you. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. That's what he needs to do. Mind his business. Yeah, he white, exactly. If this man say he can't breathe, he can't fucking breathe. Yeah. See, he done let him up and everything. Get up, bro. Get up, bro. There go your wallet right here, bro. Get your wallet, get your cigarettes. You got stuff right there, done fail. Get your stuff, bro. You might as well go on and dip. You might as well go on and dip, bro. You might as well go on and dip, bro. You might as well go on and dip, bro. Hey, she about to go get your Sprite. You might as well go on and leave, bro. You ain't do nothing.
You can't leave.
He ain't do nothing.
Ma'am?
Don't. Nah, because you already said you was racist. You already said you was racist.
He said,
yeah, you already said you racist, so that's that.
Where's my Sprite?
You already said.
Where's my Sprite?
I'll buy you a Sprite. Don't worry about that, man.
So now you want to buy him a Sprite?
Right.
It was on the floor. I know. You threw it at me. I know.
Because, yeah, you pushed me. You was big as hell. You right. I swung into it everything.
Yeah, all right.
You right. You pushed me and put your hands on me.
Stay right there. Stay right there.
I'll give you my Sprite, sir. I'm thirsty. Okay, I'm thirsty. Go get it.
Where is the worker at? Ma'am?
They're getting one. Don't worry.
Where his drink that he paid for? He had a Sprite that he paid for. They said it was on the counter or something. He got a receipt for it and everything.
They're getting this one.
Oh, you want to know this? First time, I bought a charger. I was walking around looking for someone to put the charger in.
Yeah, so are you up here following me like I'm still me just still out of here, sir? Ain't shit in here for me to steal.
I was on the ticket, got up here for us, baby. There's too many dogs up here. And then he don't even look like he's the type of person that
I work at Verizon Wise. I don't need to steal.
Well, make sure you get this video.
Yeah.
I got the video. Make sure you get this video, because you got it all.
He talking about, yeah, I am racist. Oh, we walk by each other. We walk by each other.
Yeah, you ain't, that's what I'm saying. You ain't stole no, you might as well go and get that, bro. Get your Sprite. How he gonna go to jail? He ain't did. There go his Sprite. Shit, you might as well get that, bro.
The Tennessee State Senate advancing a resolution that will completely abolish slavery. Welcome back to News 2 at 4, everybody. I'm Erica Francis. There's currently a provision in the state constitution allowing slavery and indentured servitude as a punishment for prisoners. All but 4 Republicans voted against the measure. State Capitol Newsroom reporter Gerald Harris has more from Capitol Hill with reaction from both sides.
Yeah, Democratic lawmakers are calling for a closing of the loophole they say still exists in our Constitution. It was a bipartisan vote in the Tennessee Senate.
I think it's time that we removed an exception that allows those who are incarcerated to be enslaved.
While the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution abolished slavery, Article 1, Section 33 of the Tennessee State Constitution says that slavery and involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crimes, are forever prohibited in this state.
I think that Tennessee taking this step is important. We're joining the likes of Alabama and Nebraska and other states across the nation.
While the bill has support from both parties,
ayes 26, 4 nays.
4 Republican senators voted against the measure, including Senator Brian Kelsey, who was not interested in answering questions on why he voted no.
Oh, I talked about it on the floor.
However, Republican Senator Joey Hensley stood by his vote against the bill.
I didn't think it was necessary because the Constitution already says slavery will be forever prohibited.
As far as those who say it's not necessary, it is. Our Constitution is a moral document. It should reflect the values of Tennessee. And the values of Tennessee should say that slavery and indentured servitude is forever prohibited.
The House is set to vote on the joint resolution at a later date.
I am half Puerto Rican, I'm half black. My mom is fully Puerto Rican, and my dad is obviously African American. Hispanics are racist. Let me just tell you that now. I'm not talking about my mom, but in general, Hispanics are racist towards blacks. I'm the firstborn black person in my family, full of Puerto Rican. And when I was born, I was not liked because obviously I was black and I wasn't fully Puerto Rican. And I have an uncle who makes comments about my hair, about how I can never just wear it straight for more than a couple months. He'll talk about how nappy it is. And my family always categorized black people as the ghettos, the thugs, everything that white people say about black people. Some, not all Hispanics, but some are the same.
The Thai immigrant's death, one of a slew of assaults against elderly Asian Americans in Northern California, drawing the spotlight after celebrities like Daniel Wu and Daniel Dae Kim brought star power and a $25,000 reward.
It was a very visceral response. I got very angry because I thought, this is now a year of these kinds of things going on.
Police arrested a 19-year-old suspect who pled not guilty to murder and elderly abuse. His lawyer saying his client had no knowledge of Mr. Ratanapakdit's race, since his face was fully covered with a mask and hat, and insists the attack wasn't racially motivated and instead had to do with a break in the mental health of a teenager. Even though no hate crime charges were filed, some in the community blame the tension between black people and Asian Americans.
I think they're targeting to the Asian American community.
We need the black community to realize that that black people are hurting Asians and they need to speak out in their own community.
It is not just a black and Asian issue. It is something in the psyche of this country where somehow it's okay to physically or verbally abuse Asian Americans. We're being scapegoated. You know, we can talk about all the nuances, but this is not just one community. It is every community.
In this moment, with calls for racial justice echoing, a broader conversation is taking shape.
Historically, there have been tensions between the African American and Asian American communities, but George Floyd galvanized the two communities in a way that I'd never seen before. I'd never seen more Asian Americans standing up in support of Black Lives Matter, myself included. And so I'm hoping that that momentum carries over into these cases, because it really ultimately is about a collective, unified response to injustice.
Historically, Black and Asian Americans have come into conflict in big cities, perhaps most dramatically during the unrest in Los Angeles following the Rodney King verdict.
A riot sparked by what was felt to be an unjust verdict for a Black man also became an economic war against Koreans.
In what ways have Blacks been pitted against Asians?
White America tends to privilege Asians and Asian Americans in ways that they do not our Black and Latinx community members. So it is about the model minority myth, which is that our communities are excelling.
It strikes me that this is the Asian equivalent of the talk that African American parents often have to have with their children.
So I am currently in the beauty supply store in Norwood by Xavier University. And I had somebody following me so closely, like every time I turned, he turned. Like, it was real ridiculous, right? A staff member approached me like, you okay? Because they saw the stuff going on. So I politely told them, when I came to the front, how I felt as a patron of this store, like I was being intimidated because I was Black and I did not need to be followed because I'm not going to steal. The gentleman here proceeds to then get smart with me, start talking in whatever Korean or whatever language she speaks, and start yelling. So then I start getting loud too. Like, look, no, you need to understand. You guys are minorities as well, and it's wrong to treat people like that. We patronize them, and then they treat us with disrespect. If they got their phones on me, I don't care about none of that.
Are you serious right now? That's a lie, but... How dare you? And especially the way Black people are viewed nowadays, and you call the police on us over this. So that's the way you treat us? I'm sorry. She was trying to make it seem like I was trying to not pay for it and just try it and not pay for it. I asked if I could get something else exchanged, and they said they couldn't do it. I felt sick after eating it. It's a very strong sour taste. And I just asked if I can get a refund. So I don't understand why the police had to be involved over something like that. It's so embarrassing. This is like the most embarrassing thing. She's gonna call someone here because all of the pandemic is on us during this moment. No. Oh no, you were just so nasty.
Hey, listen, buddy, I am recording. You can finish talk to the girl. Under the contract, yeah? She gave me the money.
Exactly.
Yeah?
I don't know who you think we are.
She has the right to live here.
She
does
want to live here. This is what's going to happen.
Okay, finish talking to the police.
Call the police. The police are going to come here.
Buddy, I don't care if the police come here. They can come. I need the police to come here.
If you guys did not do any crime, which you guys didn't, then you guys should get the money, right? So we're gonna wait for the police. I don't know anything about what's going on. All I know is that you guys came here and asked for money, okay? And that's because it's not like a robbery where you guys are pointing a gun out.
What kind of gun you have? I don't have no gun.
You guys have a...
Oh, I need it.
Yeah?
What did he say?
I am with my wife and my son. Yeah? They are threatening us. Yeah? So I think they have a gun. Yeah?
You heard that? They're threatening us. They think we have a gun. That's crazy.
My wife said they have a gun.
She never said that, bro. Yeah, you're a shitbag. Fuck you.
Transfer? You want my email?
Yes.
Okay. I'll send it to your number.
Yes.
6 plus 9. No, I need now. I'm not leaving until I get the full amount.
How do I know?
This is only 4.
That's him.
Did you say there was a gun here?
Oh, Lord. No, I didn't, but my wife, who called it there's a gun here? Someone called it there's a gun here. Yes or no?
Oh my God, I would love for you to search this car just so you can carry on.
Look how many police officers are here from what somebody said there's a gun here. Think about what you're saying. Look how many police cars are here.
Just to try and get us to hurry up, get away from
my
here.
wife, because I didn't say.
Well, who called? Maybe you should bring your wife out
ask
about this.
the-
I'm asking you! Who called?
I called.
So who said there's a gun here? Who said there's a gun here? Did you say yes?
Okay,
This is a landlord tenant act. It's nothing to do with the police. Who said there's a gun here? Look how many cars are
I
here.
didn't. I told them I didn't see the car.
A man is in jail on a murder charge accused of killing the mother of his toddler when she was trying to go to work. Carrollton police say Andrew Charles Beard shot Alyssa Burkett in the head and stabbed her multiple times. Witnesses to last week's murder described the attacker as a black man. Well, police found evidence of a fake beard and makeup the suspect may have used as a disguise. Fox 4's David Centendi spoke with Burkett's family as they prepare now for her funeral in Rockwall. David.
Yeah, Heather, and Beard's bond is set at $1 million. He is currently in the Dallas County Jail charged with murder, and police say it's very clear this killing was not random, it was planned, and it was personal. A young mother, Alyssa Burkett, will not be around to raise her one-year-old daughter, Willow. The 24-year-old was murdered while arriving to work at the Green Tree Apartments in Carrollton last Friday morning.
She had $1 million smile and a heart of gold.
Burkett's family is heartbroken. Police believe the killer is someone the family knows all too well, 33-year-old Andrew Charles Beard, the child's father.
Pretty early on, it was clear to our detectives this was someone who was hunting her, someone who knew where she was going to be, and someone who wanted her dead.
According to the arrest affidavit, witnesses told police that as Burkett pulled up to work, a man exited a black truck, approached Burkett's car, and fired a gun. She was shot in the head and then stabbed multiple times.
This was personal.
Burkett's family told investigators that Beard and their daughter were in a contentious child custody battle. In fact, back in September, Burkett created a GoFundMe account to help with legal fees and wrote, "At this point, I am scared for my life and my daughter's life."
And they were immediately sure it had to be him.
Police records show detectives searched Beard's home and found tracking devices, the same type found on Burkett's vehicle, trash bags with work boots cut into pieces and doused with bleach, a kitchen knife, a flathead screwdriver. They also found what they believe to be the vehicle used in the attack near the suspect's home. They recovered a dark-colored hair with what appeared to be dried blood on it. But two witnesses described the suspect as a black male, while detectives searching the vehicle also found a dark-colored prosthetic beard with what appeared to be brown makeup stains on it. Inside his home, they found 2 bottles of dark brown liquid foundation makeup, along with partially burned makeup wipes with brown residue on them. It's possible the suspect tried to appear African American.
We did have some witnesses at the scene describe it as a black man, but that did not mean, by any means, we went looking for a black man.
People in our community are getting a little anxious because they are not seeing enough of the progress they thought they would have seen at this point. Let's not disappoint them, and let's not get to a place where voters in Georgia begin to second guess.
Okay, let me respond. I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else, no progressive, was talking about it. I did.
And Oklahoma is a unique space in terms of the number of African-American towns that were established. Some suggest upwards of 50 African-American towns. between 1924 and 1928. Reverend S.S. Jones was going around documenting this sort of self-determined, vibrant African-American communities. You see the African-American educators, doctors, lawyers, landowners, oil barons, and I think that's what's so remarkable about this footage. To think that individuals, how many years out of slavery, are now owning oil wells that are producing 2,000 barrels a day. Is that not the ultimate American dream? Is that not the ultimate American story? It flies in the face of what I think some people consider part of African American history and culture. And I think that that was one of the things that Oklahoma and what S.S. Jones is really kind of showing is that African American history and culture is not a monolith. And in a way, it became kind of like a marketing tool to encourage individuals to migrate, to move there, that this is a place where you can live, you can thrive, and peacefully reside. There were still palpable racial tensions. There are lynchings, there's Jim Crow, segregation, there's all of these things, and you still have an African-American community, or many communities, that really speak to the fortitude and resilience of Black people in this country.
All right, and we back on the forecast. And I want to say RIP to the brother Andre Hill. And I'm glad the sister Brittany Williams is alive and well to tell her story. But this is why we need to get on code. First, we need to understand how to get on code. We need to study and see how other groups get and stay on code and start doing that for ourselves. We need to start building institutions. Because when we need somebody to call, all we can do is call somebody who has the mindset of hurting us in more cases than not, who don't even see us as people. That's why it's important when we have mental health issues in our community that we have somebody to call. Or if we need protection, we have somebody to call. At the end of the day, we are all we got. And until we start building that, we are going to be at the mercy of somebody who has shown us throughout hundreds of years they have no problem spilling our blood. We have to start healing ourselves and healing each other, learning our history and then teaching it to our children, because we are all we got. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.